He still hadn't touched me. That was the most dangerous part. The moments stretched thin between us, not quiet, not loud, charged with something waiting for permission. I knew that silence. I had lived inside it for years. I lowered the rifle slowly, not because he told me to, but because my arms had started to ache and I knew how he read weakness. I turned just enough to place it on the small wooden commode near the door. Careful, deliberate. The sound it made when it touched the surface felt too loud. Final. I kept my eyes on him as I did it. I didn't trust what would happen if I looked away. The room seemed to reorganize itself around us. The fire crackled softly in the fireplace, warm and obscene. The television still glowed without sound. 4 steps to the door. Too many. The chair was in the wrong place. The table blocked the cleanest path. If I moved now, I'd have to turn my back on him for half a second. Half a second was a luxury I didn't have. He didn't move closer. He didn't need to. His presence filled the space on its own. "So," he said quietly, "this is what it's come to." The words weren't angry. They were disappointed, as if I had failed a test he never explained. I searched his face for something. Confusion, maybe? Hesitation. There was none. Only calculation. I had seen that look before. The night he locked the bedroom door and told me I was being dramatic. The morning after I bled through the sheets and he asked what I had done wrong. Different moments, same expression. "You think this makes you strong?" he asked. I shook my head. Once. Barely. I wasn't answering the question. I was acknowledging the danger. My body had shifted fully into survival. I could feel it in the way my breathing changed. Shorter, quieter. In the way my weight settled slightly forward, ready to move. My gaze kept drifting to the walls, to the trophies. The antlers mounted there, polished and proud, each one marking a conquest. I had dusted them for him, arranged them just right. A room full of proof that he never missed. The thought slid in uninvited, that this was how he liked to remember things. Not alive, not resisting. Displayed. I swallowed hard. "You planned this," he said. Not a question, an accusation shaped like certainty. "No," I said. The word came out smaller than I meant it to. He smiled, not with his mouth, but with his eyes. The kind of smile that meant the conversation was over. My mind tried to reason. If I stayed calm, if I didn't provoke him, if I kept my voice low. But my body didn't believe in those rules anymore. It remembered too much. I remembered pressing myself flat against a wall once, years ago, counting breaths until it stopped hurting. I remembered learning which apologies worked faster, which silences lasted longer. I remembered how he always said the same thing afterward. "You made me do this." He took a step, not toward me, toward the space I needed to escape. The geometry shifted. 3 steps now. Still impossible. The door felt farther away than it had a moment ago. I glanced, just once, toward the commode. The rifle lay there, inert, useless, a choice already made. And in that instant, I understood something with terrifying clarity. This was no longer about the weapon. It was about control being challenged. His jaw tightened. The room felt smaller. The fire popped loudly, sudden and sharp. My body braced before my mind could catch up. He didn't rush. That was how I knew he was certain. Men who doubt, hurry. Men who fear, react. He did neither. He watched me the way hunters watch wounded animals, not to see if they'll escape, but to decide how much energy they still have left. "You always do this," he said. "Not loud, not angry, factual. You push things until I have to step in." The words slid into place with brutal familiarity. I had heard them before. Different rooms, different years, same verdict. My fingers curled slightly at my sides. I forced them open. If he noticed, he didn't comment. He never liked when I prepared myself. I counted again. 3 steps to the door. 1 obstacle too many. The chair to my right, light enough to move, too light to protect. The table behind me, useless. The wall was closer than it should have been. The room had betrayed me. "I tried to talk to you," he continued, a lie shaped like generosity. "You never listen." I almost laughed. The sound caught in my throat and died there. My body leaned back without permission. A fraction. Enough. The antlers on the wall loomed larger now. I noticed details I'd never allowed myself to before. The smoothness of the bone, the symmetry, the way each set was mounted just high enough to dominate the space. Trophies didn't need explanations. They only needed walls. For a moment, just a moment, I imagined my name replacing the brass plaques beneath them, not as a threat, as a fact. "You thought you could scare me," he said. His mouth curved slightly, amused. I shook my head again. "No," I said. This time the word held. But he wasn't listening to words anymore. My chest tightened. Breaths became shallow. Not fast, just careful. The kind you take when you're trying not to be noticed, when you're trying not to give your body away. I remembered the first time I learned how quiet pain could be, how it could sit in the body without sound, how silence sometimes felt safer than resistance. I remembered how he'd praised me for that. "You learn fast," he'd said once, like it was a compliment. He shifted his weight, not closer, but positioned. He was closing angles now, blocking the space without touching it. Every instinct I had screamed at me to move. There was nowhere left to go. The fire crackled again, too loud, too close. The television flickered, a face appearing and disappearing without sound. The world outside that room no longer existed. There was only this. I felt it then, the precise moment my body stopped waiting for instructions. Muscles tightening, jaw setting, heart pounding. Not fast, but heavy. Ready. I knew how this ended. I had known it for years. I had just hoped, foolishly, that tonight might be different. He stepped forward, not in anger, in certainty. I knew what came next. I had always known. And there was nothing left to negotiate.